The reserve is a strip of land 60 miles long, 10 to 15 miles across, and on it live about 3,000 Blood Indians. The Blood tribe is part of the Blackfoot Confederacy. Nowadays, when the Bloods travel, they have many different destinations and purposes. For the Blood Indians don't stick together as a tribe anymore. The young Bloods, in July, are usually heading out to take part in rodeos and stampedes. Their parents and grandparents have a different destination, the Sundance camp, a place on the plain in the center of the reserve. The Bloods are fast taking over the ways of the white man, yet something remains of the ancient times. The Bloods have come to the Sundance camp every summer for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. But the old life is dying, and most of the Bloods don't even go to the camp now. The children don't know what it's about, and when they're grown up, they will forget that once at the camp, they heard the dying echo of their people's history and saw things that soon will be no more. A young Blood, Pete Standing Alone, who doesn't really belong in the old order of things and isn't entirely at home in the new, speaks of what it is to live between two worlds.
My grandfather used to bring me here when I was a kid. It's the older people think it's important to come here. They were born in teepees, and they know what the signs mean. In my great-grandfather's time, there were still herds of antelope and buffalo on the plains. And every man was a hunter, and the tribe had thousands of horses. I remember when I was a kid, we used to have a lot of fun here. You were out of boarding school and nobody to tell you what to do. You could stay up and play as late as you wanted. I remember when it got hot, we used to run over to the Belly River and jump in the cold water up to our necks. But the camp isn't just a place to have fun. It's religious. And for a week they'll have ceremonies and dances like they have been doing for hundreds of years. There's only one other tribe besides us in Canada that still has a Sundance, the Blackfoot at Glacier. I've been away from all these things. I was in the States for 10 years, off and on. But I'm glad to be back on the reserve. This time of the year the grass turns brown in the sun. My folks still live here on the reserve. They keep a few head of cattle, cut bunch grass for hay in the summer, like most people do on the reserve. But the main thing I like about the reserve is there's a lot of space. When I'm home, I usually work with my brother-in-law, Dan Weaselfat. He's got a nice bunch of Herefords, about 60 head. Not much fancy stuff with a rope though. Dan doesn't like to run the fat off of his stock. Of course, if a cow gets porcupine quills in her nose, you've got to get 'em out. The cow would starve to death if you didn't. But there isn't much money in punching cows and breaking horses. When I got out of school about 15 years ago, I left the reserve. I headed south, and I've worked on the drilling rigs in Texas, Wyoming, Nebraska, North Dakota. One company is drilling for oil right here on the blood reserve. And if a roughneck gets sick, I can still take a turn on the rig. I got along fine with the fellas on the crew except for one guy. He used to call me Chief. I said to him, "My name is Pete. You call me Pete, not Chief." Sometimes I wonder what those fellas would say if they could see the sundance. The Indian songs and dances seem pretty strange to a white man. Even the names of the dances sound strange. Owl dance, rabbit dance, prairie chicken dance, loop dance. But the dances and songs aren't strange when you think of how Indian life used to be. A world where the animals are not far away. and you're close to nature. A lot of the stories they tell are about animals, and the names of people are taken from nature. Ninaki Sum, Chief Moon. Makuipuka, Wolf Child. Pitapuka, Eagle Child. Kitokio, Prayer Chicken. Pitahukiayo, Eagle Bear. Apisensky, White Badger. Stamixauta, Bull Shields. In the old days, the Indians thought everything alive was sacred, and this was part of the Indian religion. They still keep bundles of animal skins. They call them beaver bundles and sacred pipe bundles. Sometimes in a teepee, they open one of these bundles, and that's a religious ceremony. Nobody knows how old the bundles are. They burn sweet grass to make incense, and they pray. They sing songs like hymns. This year, old man Colin Low opened his bundle. Only the people he invited had the right to be there in that teepee. I don't know much about this ceremony, but I do know they have many songs. A badger song, a wolf song, an eagle song. They realize these creatures are creations of Natusi, the sun, Apistotoki, creator, Sepatapi, source of life, and these creatures are sacred to them.
Pete, standing alone, said that the most sacred ceremonies are held in the lodge at the center of the camp. He has never had the right to enter that lodge, and he refused to talk about it. Some observers say a key to the old religion is to be found in the circle. The power of the world works in circles. The sky is round. The stars and the earth are round. The seasons form a great circle. The life of a man is a circle from childhood to childhood. And so it is in everything where power moves.
It's mostly the old people that know about these mysteries. If Colin last heard me talking about them, he'd say, "Ah, what's up, Sid? What does he know about it?" Some ceremonies last several hours, some all night, so nobody thinks it's wrong to have a recess. Riding at the door likes to tell big stories about the old days, but everybody knows it didn't happen the way he tells it. And he knows it too.
Okay. Bene, che te che now Oh, muka to se po sa pa lemak le bat to check.
They like to joke with each other.
No. Dat kan zo toch stok.
Ja. Ja.
What they like to talk about are things that happened in the past. The young people don't have much to do with the old ways. They come to the sundance, but they don't take part in the ceremonies. Quite a few of the young people leave the reserve. They go away to school in Calgary, Edmonton. Some get jobs in town. Most of them come back to the reserve. Some don't. The young people nowadays are more interested in rodeo than the sundance. The Bloods have a rodeo every year about 15 miles west of the camps. The wild horses on the reserve are dangerous to ride. You never know what they might do.
That one?
The big event at the rodeo is the saddle bronc riding. Most of the Bloods have ridden broncs at one time or another. My father was a pretty good bronc rider in his day. When I started rodeoing, my father said, go in for calf roping, but stay away from those broncs. You'll get your neck broke. I know how it feels. No matter how many times you've done it, you still feel a bit nervous before you get going.
You're holding up the show.
Then somebody says to you, what's the matter? You scared? It makes you sore, and you're ready to come out spurring. In the saddle bronc riding, you have to stick the horse for 10 seconds. They judge the horse's bucking as well as the ride. We have calf roping too. "17 seconds is pretty good time. And we have a steer decorating contest. You try to put a ribbon on his horn. I've seen some get hurt bad, but you don't think about that. You think about the $200 top money. I remember one time I was riding in the Calgary Stampede. There were a lot of bloods in the grandstand that day, and that made me nervous. I didn't want them to be ashamed of me. One blood, Tom 3 Persons, was once champion bronc rider of the world. A lot of the bloods can't remember the first time they were on a horse. The camp's getting smaller every year. 20 teepees this year, but 30 years ago they had 50. But the last day of the camp is still a big day. That's when they have the grass dances. And the people come from all over, from the Pagan Reserve, from Gleason, from Montana, hundreds of people. On the last day, the mothers get the kids all dressed up in buckskin and beads. But the old Indians say in a few more years there won't be any more Sundance. The pagans and the Stony Indians don't have a Sundance anymore. And the same thing will happen to us. 10 years, maybe 20. In time, the old way of life will all be forgotten. I plan on going south in the fall to make some money, but I'll be back here. I always have come back.